Hey everyone, welcome to the Redmen TV. I'm Steve Hoare. I'm about to bring you a clip from our Journo Insight show where me and Paul Gorst talked about Liverpool's potential plans for January on the back of Jamie Carragher's comment on the overlap, where he said he thinks Liverpool should maybe push the boat out one more time in January because they find themselves in such a great position. If you want to watch or listen to the whole show, redmenplus.com is the place to go. And if you sign up today as a yearly Captain subscriber using the promo code TOP, T-O-P, you'll get a year's worth of subscription for half price. Absolutely fantastic value. You can check out the whole show with me and Paul where we talk injuries, contracts, David Coote, Manchester City charges and a whole lot more. Yeah, but for now, anyway, let's hear what me and Paul had to say about Liverpool's January plans. Right then, it's a bit early for transfers, but there's not much else going on, so we're going to talk about some transfers now. Sport building reports in Germany just keep pushing out this Omar Mamouche's name. He's been linked everywhere, you know. Sport Builder, the latest, saying the player has expressed that joining Liverpool would be a dream move. They're saying Liverpool have already initiated contract with Eintracht Frankfurt over the possibility of signing him. It was interesting today, Paul, because I was on the way here, I was listening to the Overlap show with Guy Neville and Jamie Carragher, and Jamie makes the point, if there's a player in January you can go and get him, because you might never find yourself 9 points ahead of Arsenal or 5 points ahead of City or whatever. This might not happen for a few more years. These circumstances with a Rodri injury or fatigue or whatever, go and get it done. I know James Pearce was writing in the Athletic this morning saying he'd be surprised if too much happened in January. What are your thoughts on what Liverpool could do this window? Because like I say, it's a bit like striking when the iron's hot kind of thing, whether it's a forward like Mamouche or somebody else, but it could be an interesting January if they decide actually chips in here. This could be a real special season for us. Yeah,
no, I totally agree. I totally get that point of strengthening from an already strong position, a position of power, which Liverpool are undoubtedly in at the moment. So I just feel from the club's perspective they'd err on the side of caution and think we're okay, we're in a good position, we're doing really well, we don't really need to rock the boat too much. But I'm with you. I just feel that while the opportunity is there, go and do it, go and be proactive, go and be aggressive, go and get the player that might just tip you over the edge towards something that was entirely unexpected back in the summer, whether that's Mamouche or anyone else. In Mamouche's particular case, I think Liverpool are already well stocked in those forward options, aren't they? They've got 6 there, and okay, Federico Chiesa is still yet to really sort of hit the ground at Liverpool. But could you see Liverpool adding a 7th? I couldn't see that myself, but generally, as like almost a sort of wider viewpoint, I do get this idea that Liverpool possibly should be proactive to maybe bring in someone else, to the squad, whether that's in midfield or wherever it may be, really, just to just give them an extra lift. We know what can happen when you bring in a player in January. Look at what Luis Diaz did in the January of 2022. Liverpool suddenly looked, a complete squad. Went all the way in almost everything, got to the Champions League final, won both cups and got 92 Premier League points. So it can have a big impact. So I'd be minded to be very open to what is on the market, what the situations are, and take it from there, rather than thinking, this sort of less is more approach that they had in the summer, because I think maybe this start, if we can still call it a start, has taken quite a few people by surprise.
Yeah, I suppose I was thinking like who that player could be or what position. Actually, Liverpool are quite well stocked in most areas. I suppose it goes back to like the number 6 role with Ryan Gravenberch. If he doesn't play, who's going to be playing in there? There was obviously the Zubimendi transfer saga that happened in the summer. Maybe he becomes another option. Sociedad aren't exactly flying. Maybe he becomes an option. And that might be the one position actually where you think, because if you look at everywhere else, there probably are 2 options available for everyone. Obviously with Harvey coming back, and listen, injuries can happen, of course they can, but they've got 2 left backs, they've got 2 right backs, they've got 4 centre backs, they've got 4 or 5 number 10s, they've got 6 forward players. But actually that number 6 role, and I mean this with the greatest of respect to Wataru Endo, the type of player that it seems like Arne Slot wants in that role. Endo's been fabulous at his job of coming on and shutting games down, which feels like a really good role for him, one he's well suited to. But he doesn't look like the man who's going to constantly receive the ball on the half turn, go again. So maybe that could be a position that he'd look at, I suppose. Yeah,
100%. I think we've spoken about it a few times on the show, haven't we, about Endo not being the sort of profile of defensive midfielder that Slot likes, and there's no shame in that. We've also spoken about he will be needed at some point this season, and he already has been, hasn't he, coming on?
I think he's done a really good job at doing his job.
100%, yeah. I mean, the Crystal Palace game, he come on, didn't he, and helped shut it down. Seem to remember him coming on quite recently in another one. Was it Chelsea, possibly? Or maybe Brighton. There is a role for him in that squad, and look, as the captain of Japan, he may feel that he possibly could be above that, but he doesn't strike me as the sort of character who's, has got a big head and, a big ego or anything like that. So I think at this moment in time, that is an ideal slot for him. I think in that City game in a couple of weeks, if Liverpool are 1-0 up with 10-15 to go, he could be tailor-made to come on and just close spaces and gaps and snuff out attacks, and that is what he's in the side for. But if Zubimendi is still available, for example, have those bridges been burnt? Would Liverpool cut the nose off to spite the face? Would they be more open to saying, look, here's what you could have won 6 months ago, it's still here? I'm not sure really, but I do agree with you with the sort of general point that now is the chance to maybe be a bit more aggressive than you would normally be. Certainly, last summer, because it's really opening up for Liverpool now, isn't it? I
suppose, like I say, we know Liverpool are very thorough with their transfers and, like I say, on the side of caution and all that kind of stuff. But like I say, I do wonder if there is, again, the phrase was used as sort of opportunistic, wasn't it? We kept saying the word opportunistic. Opportunistic can also mean, you find yourself in a position where maybe your rivals are struggling a little bit. You've made it looks like a really good managerial hire. Your squad's been fantastic. I don't think anyone would have been serious, and I might be wrong, sitting there at Liverpool this summer going, I think we're going to win the league. I think everyone would have been like, let Arne settle in, let's see where we're at, we can go from there. But like I said, the way the season's opened up for them, like I say, why not, I suppose, again. It just depends. All Liverpool like that, because the Diaz one, for example, I think that was a player they liked for a while, and they brought it forward because maybe he was going to go somewhere else. It'll be interesting to see what they do in January. My gut feeling with Liverpool is always expect less, because you tend to, they always just tend to do it that way. But I think that, again, whether it's Marmoush, whether it's Zubimendi, players they're being linked to, there's a possibility that it's the right move to do if they can.
Yeah, I mean, the money's there. I don't think there's any suggestion that fees would be the case for.
Well, they had it for him and then didn't spend it on anyone else. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah, and if you go back 12 months with Caicedo, where does the rest of that money go? So the money's there. Certain of that. It's just a case of how much do they think, if we push the boat out here, could mean the difference between winning the league and not. Liverpool found themselves in a fantastic position unexpectedly, you'd have to say. City's malaise won't go on forever. Arsenal's may or may not, but you'd imagine once they get Odegaard fit, they will start to improve gradually. I think 9 points for them means they have to be absolutely perfect now. They're on the tightrope, and if they lose again and Liverpool win, that's them absolutely done for, you have to say. Liverpool have only dropped 5 points so far this season.
And they're probably going to have to go to Anfield and win. You'd think the way it's working out for them. So they're teetering. City 5 points, even that, like I say, that's not massive, and I think most people would suggest City are probably equal favourites, if not favourites, to win the title. But you've got yourself into a 27 game to go situation where you are 5 points clear of them. That might not happen again. It just might not. They could have Rodri back next season. Who knows where the Chargers thing is, by the way. And then they do it around where you're chasing them 5 points and you're thinking, we're in trouble here. Yeah, like I say, maybe like Jamie Carragher, his points maybe strike while the iron's hot.
Yeah, no,
could you see Liverpool doing that though? Because we're saying this as a fan or as a journalist, like we think they should. What do you think? Can you see Liverpool thinking that way in the boardroom? Can you see a conversation between Richard Hughes, Michael Edwards, John Emery, or whatever, going, you know what, like, can we not just push this little button here and just go one more? Yeah,
I mean, we're saying it in terms of what we think, aren't we? In terms of what we'd like to see, maybe. But what like I say, I'd suggest that Liverpool always think less is more, and they feel that they're well stocked and okay. They got to this position without needing more. So, like you said, then your sort of default stance with Liverpool is always expect less in terms of expenditure and players, working with more of a streamlined squad. So yeah, that would be my gut feeling, that they think that they're okay as they are. And maybe we're just talking, because we get the buzz of the transfer content and the thrill of players coming in and whatever else. And but yeah, I do just feel that if Liverpool get to, I mean, we don't know what January's going to look like, the league table and stuff, but if, say, as is now, Liverpool gets to January and everything is still as it is. Liverpool still 5 points clear of City, still 9 ahead of Arsenal. It does feel like a real opportunity there to go and explore what might be available from a position of strength. Don't need to rush into anything, do anything daft. But, it could be the difference between a league title and not a league title.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll see how they do. There's a lot of bridges to cross before then. There's a lot of big games to be played, but we'll see what position Liverpool find themselves in January and what they decide to do. And I for what it's worth, I agree, Jamie. If they want to go, if there's someone else they can push the button on, I reckon they should go and do it too.